Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Let's start with Maxi for a minute. So I said this yesterday. Okay, I said this yesterday that a plan was stupid, and well, that didn't really change. And she asked Britt, could you sit there and do me this solid, help me out with this plan? And Britt is like, no. So before they really get to sit there and discuss it even further, Peter comes over. Peter comes over and, he's like, listen, I'm going to back off from you. I'm going to give you your time and your space and, just try to work on stuff. And he gets her a present. This present is a bear. And he says that, it was the only thing that he was allowed to keep. And he gave Maxi this sob story. Now, before Peter came in, Britt was like, listen, you got to be careful. He's a very smooth talker, and Maxie was like, I'm used to his charms by now. I'm gonna, I'm not gonna fall for his same old tricks or whatever. And he comes in with this sob story. Now, this sob story, he talks about, there was good people in the world. This bear reminded me of the good people in the world or whatever that, would love me one day. And I'm not even gonna lie, even I was just like, oh, that's so nice. I mean, I know he's a homicidal maniac, but that's so nice. So he does that and he leaves. And, Maxie's like, well, it's a really cute bear. It's really nice and everything like that. And Britt was like, well, here's the thing. It's a lie. I know that because Faison gave me the same teddy bear. Now, even I, when she said that, I was like, mother. And I'm sitting there realized I was like, I actually fell for that. I actually fell for his sob story. That's just how good Peter is as far as being a manipulator. Okay? So, with that being said, Britt decides to, help Maxie out with a plan. And she also has an alternative plan to make sure that Peter stays away until the baby comes. I don't know what that is, but you know what? I'm pretty sure whatever that is going to be a better plan than what Maxi came up with. I hope. Let's talk about Cam. Cam. The dark side is really starting to take over at this point. So Jocelyn comes over, brings some cookies or whatever, just kind of just hang out and chill. And, Jake is talking to Liz as far as seeing his dad. He wants to see him. And Liz is like, listen, I don't think it's a good idea. Jail is kind of depressing. You don't want to be around that. And at first, I was sitting there thinking, okay, Liz, you just on your little harpy whatever crap that you got going on. But, Jake comes in and he's like, I really want to see him. I really want to support him. And Cam, well, he acts like a dick. Okay? He acts like a dick, and he's like, oh, well, he's all like, well, Jason did it, and he killed Franco, and he's a killer, this, that, and the third, and just really, getting at Jake about this. Now, Jake is, like, livid, and he's hurt. So, he runs outside, and even Jocelyn halfway through was like, yo, Cam, like, I think it was either Jocelyn or Liz, but one of them was just like, yo, Cam, just, like, chill out. But Cam was just, well, like I said, the dark side is pretty much taking over, and he just keeps going, and Jake runs out. Liz goes after him, and Jocelyn's like, yo, that was just cruel. Like, what are you doing? And apparently, her words got through Jake. Got through Cam. Because when Jake came back out, because Jake was like, yo, listen, like, do you think that, you think Jason did it? Now, she's not going to sit there and really kind of, she doesn't want to hurt Jake. So she's like, well, it's the legal system, and it's in the car's hands. She gives him some sort of BS answer or whatever. So they go back inside, and Cam somewhat apologizes. Okay, this is a somewhat half-hearted apology, and I do mean that because he was sorry. He was genuinely sorry that he did hurt his brother's feelings. Okay, that much was true. But he wasn't sorry as far as, him taking back what he said because he believes that. So, Jacob's like, you know what, listen, I'm not accepting your half-hearted apology. He goes upstairs, and then apparently they go see Jason. Now, Jocelyn's like, well, it was really good of you to sit there and recognize what you did and that you went too far. But, well, that didn't take too long because, Cam was like, well, I still think that Jason did it. So now at this point, Jocelyn doesn't believe Jason did it. Cam does. They get into this big argument. And, Jocelyn leaves. Jocelyn's like, yo, listen, I can't be friends with someone who won't even admit the possibility that they could be wrong. She walks off. And I'm like, you know what, Cam, you did this to yourself. Okay? You did this to yourself. Because what he really did was try to make her choose a side. And, I mean, listen. Okay. Here's my feelings about Jocelyn. Up until the fact that she whooped Nell's ass, I didn't like Jocelyn at all. Jocelyn knows that, most likely Cam think that Jason did it. But she's going to be a good friend anyway. Regardless of the fact that she's loyal to Jason and, her mom and everything like that. She still went over there to sit there and try to be a good friend. And so, at some point, she feels like, yo, so it's what, your way to highway? No, I'm good. And she walked out, and, well, I don't blame her. I really don't. Now Cam is just, I was like, well, you got a trainer, so I don't know how that's gonna all work out, because, I'm pretty sure Trina and Jocelyn are friends, so that's gonna be a giant mess. No, never mind. Liz does take, Jake to go see Jason, and he drew him a picture or whatever. And Jason's just like, listen, live your life. People are going to sit there and say that, mean things about me. But that I wouldn't sit there and hurt Franco if it means hurting you. And here's the thing, when he said those words, and I don't know if those are exact words he said, when he said those words, that's the first time since this whole, Liz been going at Jason sideways for a hot minute, and she had doubt in her eyes. Because she realized, and I think in that moment she realized, she knew that despite how Jason felt about Franco, he wouldn't kill Franco if it meant hurting Liz and if it meant hurting Jake. She knew. In her eyes, she didn't even have to say anything, and she knew in her eyes that there was a good possibility that she was wrong. Now, before that, you got Scott sitting there just kind of going at Jason, talking about, you killed my son, yada, yada, yada. You killed him, just admit it. And, Jason's just like, he's just kind of taking it for a little bit. And then he's like, I didn't kill him. And Liesl comes into jail. And this is after she was sitting there talking to Nina. It's like, yeah, Morgan's right. You didn't do it. It was Peter. So she talks to, talks to Scott for a little bit, telling her, how she came to that conclusion with Anna and everything like that. And, told Jason, listen, I'm going to sit there and back you because I want to sit there and nail Peter to the wall. More or less of what she said. She gets Scotty out there, out of the jail to go get some drinks at the Metro Court. And they start talking about Franco, just, going over fond memories and stuff like that. And after probably a lot of drinks, some crying, Scotty's like, listen, I'll walk you back to your hotel. And he does that. And that's when Liesel's like, you want to come in? Scott says yes. And I'm not going to lie, I knew, I knew most likely that something was going to happen. At some point in time, something was going to happen. I thought something was going to happen before when she was hiding out, but um, yeah, I felt like something was going to happen. The minute he was like, I'll walk you back to your hotel, we already know. All right, we already know. I mean, granted, there'll be a real surprise if nothing really didn't happen, but I have a feeling that something happened. Well, Peter was going at Carly. They're going back and forth a little bit. Pretty much Peter is threatening Carly. And somebody said something in the comment section as far as like she's not alone. Like she does have allies. She has Sonny's men and his business associates that was very loyal to him, so they would back Carly. She doesn't have to sit there and take on Cyrus and Peter and anyone else alone. But Jax comes in there, and Jax kind of just shuts the whole conversation down, more or less, and Peter just kind of just grins and walks off. And at first, Carly's mad at Jax because Carly's like, "Yo, listen, I'm not a damsel in distress. Like, I had him. I didn't need your help." And also the fact that, she was like, you made me look weak and stuff. So, honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not going to lie. Their scenes, more or less, I felt like it wasn't really necessary in this episode. All they did was talk about Jason, talked about Cyrus, and Jax was like, this isn't your fight. This isn't your fight. Stay out of it, And he's just more worried about her and what would happen if she gets into the business and start throwing her hands to the ring or whatever with Jocelyn and stuff like that. So that's pretty much about it, more or less. They talk about Jason, they talk about they talk about Nina, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a little kind of funny because Nina was like, well, Carly was like, yeah, me and Nina talked. And, she started talking about, well, pretty much she tried to downplay of all the crap that she was saying to Nina. And when she was done, all she said was, oh, Nina, like, somewhat kind of, like, gave, like, a veiled threat talking about, it's my fault and I'm going to be in the bed alone or something like that. And I'm just like, so, Carly, you pretty much kind of glossed over the whole fact that the minute she got on the phone, you just started going in about legal this and legal that and how you would sit there and bury her in court and yada, yada, yada. You just glossed over that whole fact. And the sad thing is that Jax knew that she glossed over that. And he just kind of just let it ride. Like, but at the end of the day, he was just like, listen, no matter Cyrus or Peter or whatever, I got your back. And that's more or less where the conversation was. Now, the last thing I want to sit there and talk about is the Sonny and Nina scenes. The fact that Nina sometimes dangles the truth in front of Sonny a little bit, so do you ever wonder where you were like how come you didn't? There was one question that she did ask that did make some sort of sense. She was like, how come you never really tried to find out who you were? Like you could have looked online or whatever, everyone leaves a digital footprint or whatever, like how come you didn't really try so hard? And pretty much Sonny was like, well, obviously the people that look for me, that, during my life didn't really sit there and try hard enough to look for me. And I felt like the way Nina's questions were, it was like, it's like when Sonny sat there and said, listen, I shouldn't be sitting there trying to chase, who I was. Like, maybe I was an awful person. Maybe I had a lot of trouble and stuff like that in the past. And maybe, it's better off not knowing and stuff like that. Like, answers that Sonny would give made Nina feel less guilty about her holding the truth over Sunny. And that was the thing that I just really didn't like, you know? And this happened a couple of other times when Nina would sit there and talk to Sunny, you know. And Sunny would be like, hey, listen, I got a good life here, and the people here are nice and stuff like that. I'm with Phyllis, and it's like, oh, so you're happy, so you're good, you're okay, okay, so it sounds like you're okay, cool. I was, I was feeling really guilty because I know everything about you, but you sound like you're at peace, right? You're happy, right? Like that's the sort of answers that I feel that sort of like satisfies Nina whenever she talks to Sunny. Now, with that being said, you got creepy ass Elijah hanging out outside, um, asking about dirt on Sunny, and there's no, like, how come you guys can't find anything on him? And he walks in, he walks in the bar, and Sunny is already sitting there giving him the stink eye. Um, well, pretty much Elijah introduced himself to Nina, and he finds out that Nina, she's from Crimson and Port Charles and stuff like that, and he offers to take her out, give her a grand tour. Now, of course, once again, this is before and after. Sonny was like, you should write an article and try to get people here and all that other stuff, like to really help out the bar and stuff like that. And Nina's like, well, you know, people that may come from Port Charles may be bad and, bring all their problems and complications. And I'm like, Nina, why does I feel like you're dragging your feet as far as trying to, and I know she is. I know she is a little bit. And that's because if she talks about, um, the Tanos, she's gonna have to sit there and talk about Sunny. But from Phyllis' perspective, it's like, yo, this woman has been sitting there really trying to help you out, and you're just kind of just dragging your feet about, oh, I don't know, I mean, I guess I could write an article, I don't know. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure yesterday you just said that you were considering it. At least that sounded like it was a done deal. Now today it's like, I'm like, okay, whatever. So Elijah pretty much asked to take her, on a tour or whatever of the city and the sights and stuff like that. And, Nina agrees. Nina agrees, and Elijah walks outside. He makes the call, and he's like, yeah, find out about this Nina Reeves character too, because she seems like she could be trouble also. I'm like, bro, what is it you're exactly trying to do? I mean, you're going through all this work to try to buy up this Tano's place when the rest of the neighborhood is going through. Well, actually, tell you the truth, now I sit there and think about it, it's probably him that's behind the whole burglary thing. So, never mind. Anyway, he leaves, and Sonny more or less is just like, like he doesn't really trust him or whatever. And honestly, tell you the truth, I'm not gonna lie. After that, I kind of forgot the rest of their scenes. I'm gonna be honest. I just kind of forgot the rest of their scenes. Like I know that they talked, but I don't remember exactly what it was about. But um, or did they not talk? I think that Elijah's scene was the last one, but I can't be too sure. Honestly, tell you the truth, I'm gonna be honest. I can't wait for this whole Sunny um side story to come to an end. But um, we're in April, so I don't know if that's gonna happen anytime soon. I think they started this in February, or was it January that they started this whole side story crap? So who knows at this point? And yeah, more or less, I think that's about it. I might have missed a few things, but I think I got the um, general stuff of what happened in today's episode. And let's be honest, this episode, well, it really wasn't that great. It really wasn't. There was a couple of good moments, um, in this episode, but for the most part, I felt like it was one of those things where like you could have kind of skipped it. You could have just went to tomorrow's episode, and we would have kind of just got the gist of the majority of today's episode. So, yeah. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank everyone for commenting yesterday, and yeah, let me know what your thoughts are about this today's episode. Did you like it? Not like it? I thought it was just kind of middle of the road episode, to be honest. But write your comments down below. Thank you for watching. Be safe. I will catch you in the next review. Funny, I said I was actually working on the outro, and I already had it the whole time.